Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Indira Educational Academy. Today our topic is Java. Java is one of the most important programming language in computer science subject. Before going to learn about Java, we must have some knowledge on the concept of OOPS. Why? Because Java is an object-oriented programming language. Since it is an object-oriented programming language, we must have some idea on that topic. So before going to learn about the concept of Java, let's complete the topic of OOPS. So let's begin our topic Java with the concept of OOPS. So now coming to the topic OOPS. OOPS here, OOPS itself stands for Object Oriented Programming System. Here, whereas coming to that graphical representation of that OOPS is it consists of object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulations. All these are the concepts of that OOPS. So one by one, we will discuss about all these concepts of the OOPS. So before going to learn the concepts of OOPS, let's complete the definition of the OOPS. So now coming to the definition of the OOPS. OOPS stands for Object Oriented Programming System. So here Object Oriented Programming System is a methodology or paradigm to design a program using classes and object. It simplifies software development and maintenance by providing some concept. Here what this definitions defines is object oriented is nothing but it just a process to design a program using classes and objects, and it simplifies the software development and maintenance by providing all these concepts. What are the concepts? Object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation, coupling, cohesion, and association. Here cohesion is also known as message passing. So object oriented programming is nothing but a process which is design a program using all these concepts, and OOPS develops the software and maintenance. So let's complete these concepts. So coming to the definition of the object is nothing but a intensity of a class. An object contains an address and take up some space in memory. Objects can communicate without knowing the details of each other's data or code. Here objects easily communicates or allocate some storage to the data or code without knowing that data type or code type. That means here objects allocates storage to that data without knowing that details of the data. So it is an individual. Which is individual? Object is the individual term. It doesn't depends on anything. Object is an individual term which allocates some storage to the object or code without knowing the details of that object or data. And object is a independent term, and it communicates without knowing the details of each other data. Next one is class. Class is nothing but a collection of objects. So here class so here class is a logical entity, and it is defined as a blueprint from which you can create an individual object. And class doesn't consume any space. Why? Because it is a dependent on the object. Since class is dependent on the object, it doesn't consist any space, whereas object providing some space to the data, unknown data. That's why object consumes space, whereas class is dependent, it doesn't consume space. So here class is nothing but collection of data, whereas coming to the example, dog, cat, cow are the objects, and all these objects comes under the class is animal. Next one is inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but it itself consists two parts, which is parent object and child object. So here child object is inheritance is nothing but it consists of two objects, parent object, child object. When the child object carries all the properties of parent object, it comes under to the inheritance. Here coming to the example, bus, car, truck, or the uh, child objects, whereas vehicle is the parent objects. Here characteristics or properties is fuel, capacity, apply brakes. All these are characteristics that are carried by the child object from the parent object. Next is polymorphism. The word itself, poly means many. So here polymorphism means during doing any task, doing any task in multi ways is known as polymorphism. Here draw a shape, that means we can draw any shape. One member will draw cube, another cuboid, third triangle, whatever it is, all these comes under the shapes only. So that question is one, it is a single unit question, whereas the answer is in different ways. So polymorphism is doing one task, that means performing one task in different ways, it is known as polymorphism. In Java, if you want to work with polymorphism, then we use method overloading and method overriding. In programming terms, we know these terms definitions. And the next one is abstraction. Abstraction is nothing but hiding the internal details and showing the functionality is known as abstractions. Example, phone call. In phone call, the internal process which is transferring the signals from mobile to tower, tower to tower, and tower to mobile, all these comes under the internal process, which is hidden and which is not seen by the user. Whereas calling, that means when when a person calls from mobile 1, then mobile 2 is ringing, that means that function is seen by the user. This is the abstraction. And encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but binding or wrapping code and data together into a single unit is known as encapsulations. That means making two different types of data into a single unit is known as encapsulation. Coupling refers to the knowledge or information or dependence of another class. That means depending on one class depending on another class is known as coupling. Association is represents the relationship between the objects. That means the the term which defines the relationship between the objects, one to one to many, many to one, many to many, all these types of relations between the objects is described by the association only. Next, message passing and cohesion is same. It is nothing but a form of communication that is used in two different programming. One is OOP and second one is parallel programming. That means the communication between object oriented programming and parallel programming is known as message passing. And advantages of OOPS over produce oriented programming language, or benefits of OOPS, or difference between OOPS and producer. This is one of the most important question for the BSc 4th sem students. Here 4 points are there for these questions. Here once check that questions, here three questions are completing by these 4 points of answer. Advantages of OOPS over produce oriented programming language is one question, and benefits of OOPS is second question, whereas difference between OOPS and producer is third questions. For these three questions, these 4 points only the single answer. Coming to first point, OOPS make development and maintenance easy, whereas coming to produce oriented programming language, it is whereas it is easy to manage if code grows as project size increases. Here it describes OOPS. Then OOPS is easy to manage if code grows as project, and OOP provides data hiding, whereas in global oriented language, global data can be accessed from everywhere. It means in pop in a produce oriented programming, there is a lack of secure, whereas OOPS provide more secure to the user. Third one, OOPS provide the ability to simulate the real world event much more efficiently. We can provide solution for the real world problem if you are using the object oriented. In OOPS provide a solution for the real world problems efficiently, whereas pop is nothing but produce oriented programming language. So where pops fail in that, accept. Fourth one, object based programming language follows all the features of OOPS except inheritance. Accept inheritance object oriented language follows all the features. So for this object based programming, JavaScript and VB script is the best examples. So these 4 points are very very important to answer these 3 questions. So kindly check once again all these 4 points and make it clear about all those questions. And the next important topic is applications of OOP. Here applications of OOPs and uses of OOPs is same. This is also one of the most important short question for the BSc 4th sem students. And there are many applications of object oriented programming language. In all those many applications, here we are discussing 8 points. What are those points? Real-time system design, simulation, modeling system, object-oriented database, client-server system, hypertext, hypermedia, neural networking and parallel programming, CAD and CAM systems, A and expert system. Here real-time system designs is nothing but robotics. That means robots are also work like us in the present tense. Simulation and modeling system is nothing but developing by using OOPs. We can develop the predefined software, whereas object oriented database is nothing but we can execute that programs in object oriented, that means in graphical representation. Client server system, here client server system is nothing but here client can contact easily with the server. That means here client directly contacting the server, that means directly in contact with the Java software. Hypertext hypermedia comes under the web link and web pages, whereas neural networking and parallel program comes under the programming terms of the Java. CAD and CAM systems comes under the secure and security systems. AI and expert systems comes under the robotics, that means real time system design only. These 8 points are the applications of OOPs. It is these 8 points are also known as uses of OOPs. Our next topic is features of Java. Once carefully observe this graphical representation of the features of Java. In this graphical representation of features of Java, it consists nearly 12 points. That means 12 features of Java. So let's discuss all these 12 features of Java. First one is object oriented. Object in Java, everything is object oriented. That means we can convert our data into graphical representation. Since it is object model, we can easily represent that our data in graphical representation. Since it is object and Java is a platform independent, it doesn't require any specific platform to run that Java itself have a platform to run that program. And simple, here Java is very easy to use and learn. Why? Because it is based on object oriented model. And secure, with Java secure feature, it enables to develop virus free tamper free systems. The creation techniques are based on public key encapsulations. Java provides more secure to the data. Portable is nothing but it provides some codec languages. That means with portable feature we can pass the boundaries of the Java with ANSA codes. Robust is nothing but robotics. That means Java works in real time system. It works as a real time system. In present, it is work with us. And multi-threading is nothing but writing programs to perform many tasks simultaneously means at a time or at a single moment many tasks can be designed or many tasks can be executed at a single moment is known as multi-threading. And interpreted is nothing but translating the code. Interpreter is nothing but translating code. These translating code can't store by the Java for the purpose of security. So it is not stored in any way, which the code of the Java is not stored anyway. That means the main native code, mission code, or the native Java software code is not stored in any way for the security purpose. High purpose high performance just in time compilers. Due to just in by using just in time compilers in Java, it provides more high performance. Distributed Java is designed for the distributed environment of the internet, and by using Java software we can easily distribute anything to internet. Dynamic Java is considered to be more dynamic than C or C++ since it is designed to adapt to an evolving environment. Here Java is, and the main motto of the Java is to overcome the drawbacks or the works which not done by the C or C++ is is overcome by the Java. That means in C we can't produce our input into graphical representation, whereas Java it can represent our data into graphical representation. So Java is known as dynamic. So these are the features of Java, and in this part 1 we completed the concept of oops and features of oops, applications of oops, and three important questions of BSc fourth sem syllabus, and features of oops, and all these concepts are very very important, and these three important questions are also very important, and features of Java, definition of Java, and applications of oops, everything is completed in this part 1. So once again check all these topics, and those three important questions are very important, and this is the part 1 of unit 1 of BSc 4th sem students. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to my channel for more interesting and knowledgeable videos. Jai Hind.